Hello, everybody. Welcome to an on-the-road episode of the Down the Donut Hole podcast. It sounds different. It is different. We're on the road, like we just said, and we are experimenting with something called immersive audio experience. Obviously, when we're on the road, we can't bring our studio with us. It's going to sound different. So we thought, in fact, the original idea for a podcast we had some years ago, and we had a name for it. It was called Offset, which means that we're not in the studio. We're out and about, traveling or whatever, and recording a slice of real life. So it'll be very different than what you're used to for a podcast. But it's an interesting technology, and if you have a good pair of earbuds or headset, and you put them on, kind of close your eyes, you can imagine that you're right here with us in the room. So you'll hear a lot of extraneous noise, which is a taboo when you're in the studio doing a regular podcast. But it's exactly what, I'm describing, is it's a slice of real audio life experience. And your ears are the only sense that we all have that is non-directional, 360 degrees. So it's kind of a 3D audio experience. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. It's just because it's something different, even if it sounds kind of loose and not very professional sounding in some ways. But it's a lot of fun, I think. We'll check it out.
It is a lot of fun. And as soon as we decided that we were ready to start recording, they fired up a lawnmower for us. So
yeah.
You'll hear a consistent hum in the background.
Just the time that I said, you're going to hear extraneous noises. It was, right on cue.
Yeah, it is. And we didn't even ask for that. It just is a nice little enhancement for this morning. It's always fun to travel. And when we talk about achieving some level of balance in your life, despite the nervous news, despite all the demands on your paycheck, despite all of the other obligations that you have in your life, if you can take a break and go travel somewhere, and I don't mean you don't have to, buy a big plane ticket to some exotic location. You can pretend you're a tourist not far from your home and go visit the sites that you would recommend to a visitor who's come to your place. And that's a whole different experience when you just let yourself play. Just go
let
do
yourself
something
go.
fun. It helps so much. I am always ready to go someplace. And I'm always accused of packing too much. There's an ongoing quarrel between...
Oh, no, that's not just an accusation. It's been proven in court.
Yeah, well,
not court, but not really, but you know what I mean.
I carry my own freight, as I say. I always bring
freight is the word for it.
It is the word for it. But I have certain things that are just non-negotiable on a trip, because if you need them, if something, there's some little bobble that happens and you don't have them, then you're out scrambling around looking for a store. You're going to spend money that you don't need to spend. And if you go to, like in any given store, pharmaceutical stores, Walmarts, any of those stores,
yes, and you will go. You don't discriminate. Sales. You do go to all of them.
I do go to all of them. Well, when I happen to be there, I don't shop all the time, but if I am at a store, I always check out the little travel size or sample size of products. And so I have a little kit, and I'm just going to dump that out right now because this is what I carry. And there are other people who travel with me who make very consistent use of this stuff. Do you hear all of that dumping out? This is a little bag. It's about 9 inches by 7 inches.
We'll get a photo of it.
Something like that. We'll take a photo of the little pack. But here's what I always keep in the pack. There is a little thing of powder. That always helps, especially if you're traveling in southern locations and it's hot and you can put it on your feet so you're not getting blisters. There's a little thing of aerosol perfume, and this is kind of nice to have because you don't have to worry about it leaking or breaking. Here's a genius thing, if I do say so myself. Those little containers of M&Ms? They're a little tube type thing with a resealable lid, and it's for the minis. I have 2 of those. One is red, one is blue. The red one, I have Band-Aids in there. I keep goody powders in there. And I keep a small pair of tweezers for for slivers and things like that. Really little pair. It all fits in that little M&M's tube. And I can't tell you how many times you just need a Band-Aid. You don't want to have to go out searching for that sort of thing. There it is. I have a little green one, the little green M&M's thing. You can hear it shaking here. That has clippers, fingernail clippers.
Let me shake it in 3D.
Shake it in 3D. Ooh, that's almost musical. Anyway, that's got the
Sounds like dice.
nail things, because there's
why
nothing like a ripped fingernail.
Why does it sound like dice? I think.
Something like that. It
When
does
you go to
sound
the
a
crap
little
table, I
dicey.
guess.
Little dicey, but there it is. Little thing of Q-tips, one of those little openable packages. It's a small little thing. Put some extra tape on that because they like to open up. The latch isn't terribly secure, so I put a little piece of, what works best is that blue painter's tape. That's what I use, like if I'm resealing something that I'm taking on a trip or whatever. And then I fold back the end so I can lift that and put it back down. At some point you have to replace it, but it comes off clean and it doesn't make it all sticky. And then I don't keep buying these little things. I probably have 2 or 3 floating around, but I don't keep buying them. I just refill them with Q-tips. So that's just a little thing that I have in there. Little tiny thing of lotion that I got at one of the hotels previously. Actually, I think there's 2 lotions that kind of get...
Oh, so you're taking all the stuff from the hotel room.
Well, if you use a little bit of it, keep it. Don't throw those away because you're just
They
adding to the
do.
lawn.
That's the thing. I mean, sometimes you feel a little guilty about taking shampoos or soaps, but if you're partially used, they throw them out anyway.
Yeah, they're going to throw them out anyway. So throw them in your kit, and then you don't keep rebuying things. Here's something that I think I got in one of the hotels too, and it's just a little flat cellophane thing of toothpaste. So I do not consider this my toothpaste, and I never use it. This is in there for that absolute emergency where I just forgot or whatever. So that's in there. Then I got this little tiny thing of Vaseline that is so useful for stuck zippers or something like that, or of course personal care or anything like that. And it's the tiniest little thing. It's about 1 inch by 1.5 inches. So there's no reason you shouldn't pack that. I have a little thing of chapstick. Here's a little thing of Advil. And it's just a little tiny tube, and it has a screw-on cap, and that doesn't take up much space. Here's another genius thing, and I don't know what was in this because I bought it in a thrift shop, actually. I paid a nickel for it. And it looks like those M&M's too. It's red, but fatter, a lot fatter and shorter than those. It's the perfect thing to put those tooth harps in. It's like dental floss harps. So that, I have a whole bunch of those in there, and I just leave them in there. Here's some face cream. And then this here, it looks like liquor. It's one of those little sample liquor bottles.
It is liquor.
No, it isn't liquor. But I've been accused of it being liquor. What it is that's the perfect little bottle for witch hazel. And I packed the witch hazel because it's so good if you get like an insect bite. We've talked before about how I seem to attract mosquitoes and things like that. And that takes some of the itch out of it. And you can use this for a million other little things, And so a little bottle of that. There's a razor. Here's a shoe shine thing. This isn't opened up. This we got in a hotel sometime, and I just left it in there. And this is a cool thing. I love going to fairs and little town festivals and things like that. And when our kids were small, I always went to the fairs because you could get a lot of pencils, sometimes pens, often rulers, little things that you would have to buy to get the kids back to school. I used to pick those up. They all have advertising on them. So I'd pick those up at the fair. We'd have fun at the fair. And, we'd kind of have a little cache of things for the kids to take back to school. Some of them, this thing here is very cool. It looks like a key ring almost. It's about the width of my hand, and 3/4 of an inch wide, and it has all different kinds of screw heads and a little screw handle there. Perfect thing for fixing your eyeglasses or, just little repairs. The flathead I've used it as a little pry. Sometimes you just need something that you can use for that, and so that's really handy on the road. And then here's this little tiny thing of tiger balm. You know how sometimes if you're doing things you don't do all the time and you're on the road, you'll get like sore muscles or something. This tiger balm works almost like Vicks because it's very aromatic. It's got, highly scented, probably like a eucalyptus type thing, but it's also good like, on a sore muscle or something like that, or to relieve some cold symptoms. So it's got multi-uses, and that's just the cutest little.
What do tigers have to do with it?
This is a product. It's a name brand. It's an Asian product, and I've bought it for years. They have, different products, but this tiger balm is. Everybody should have some in the travel kit. And then here's a stone that one of my grandkids gave me. A precious stone. It looks like any other stone, except it's got a little notch out of the side. So it looks sort of like a Pac-Man or a fish. And I think that's why they gave it to me. And this should be transferred to my treasure box from little kids. And so those are all useful things. And that goes.
But those are all tiny things.
Not
how
in
does
the aggregate.
How does your pack get so huge and heavy?
Well, that's not the only pack. So I keep that. I also keep a quarter in there. And usually I try to have more than 1/4 because, sometimes you just need something from a vending machine, and your dollars, if you even carry cash, are too wrinkled up for vending machines. I've had that happen to me on the road where all I needed was a thing of water, and there's no counter where you can buy it. And you're, absolutely annoyed to find out that you can't make the rumpled dollars that you do have in your wallet from forever ago. They won't.
Oh, you're showing your age. I don't think they do that anymore.
Yeah, they
credit
do.
cards.
Oh, yeah, they do. At the bus stations, they do.
Aren't they just all taking cards now?
They do. But, I don't always like to hit my cards, especially on the road, for a bottle of water.
Yeah, but a bottle of water on the road is probably $5-6. So
yeah, that's the other reason, that I don't want to. I have a second pack that I keep for it's my tech pack. And don't think when I say that I carry a tech pack that I am a tech person, because I have Dave for that. And so I have to say
I have you for the mosquitoes.
Yeah, and for all of this other stuff. So I carry all of this stuff from the shiny blue pack, and you are in charge of the tech. However, because he's much better at trimming the bulk down than I am, you would be ashamed to carry this stuff. I carry
downsizing.
He's fantastic at that, because again, I don't like hunting stuff up, and I don't like being uncomfortable for stupid reasons. So I carry this other stuff. I carry with me.
Should I pull up a chair here?
Pull up a chair.
It sounds like it's going to be
it's
a
going to
long
take
thing.
A while. What's in Granny's pack? I carry one of those. It's a plug. I call it a plug doubler. The thing I carry is a
plugler?
triple plug. A plugler. Yeah, well, you could call it that. This is one of those things that you plug into a single outlet, and it divides it up into more than one outlet. So the one that I carry is a swivel one, and it has 3 outlets. Because now the hotel that we're in now, our son reserved for us, and so this is quite a bit fancier than where we normally stay, because we like to travel as often as we can, and so one of the ways we are able to do that is on the cheap. And we have a threshold. There's places that we've decided we ain't going back there, but sometimes if you're
Oh,
getting
yeah.
in late and going out early, just get flat. That's
Yeah.
all you care
That'll
about.
be another interesting episode of the worst travel experiences.
We have a lot of worst ones, but it's funny because the worst ones make the best stories.
That's the ones you talk about, which is weird, but yeah, it seems to be the case with everybody.
It absolutely does. But I have to say that plug tripler, if there's any advice that you take this year, get yourself one of those, especially if you're traveling on the cheap like we do, because we both need to charge our phones overnight, and that's really important when you're on the road to keep that phone charged up. And so having that tripler, we can both use outlets. I have another thing that's a real throwback, and it's because cheapy hotels, the amenities are very short, and you have to get clever about how to make it work. A lot of the ones we stay in have like the old style lamps, and I have this thing that you unscrew the old style light bulb from those old style lamps, and that has plugs. You can screw the light bulb back in, because how many places have we stayed where the lamps don't work?
Well, there's
or
one in
2 out of
particular that
3
we
don't
have
work.
gone to a lot, that because it was cheap and not horrible,
Yeah.
but it seems like all of the light switches don't work anymore, so they've just sort of given up and say screw in the bulb to turn it on and unscrew it to turn it off, kind of thing.
Well, this thing it screws into the light bulb socket, and it has 2 outlets on opposite sides, and then it has the screw-in socket on the top. So it's just a device that goes between the light bulb and the lamp socket, and that'll give you a couple plugs that you can plug into. And that saved me a bunch of times, because usually they have a lamp by the bed. Now, again, it's anybody's guess how great that's going to work, and the room is otherwise, okay. I hate carpet in hotel rooms, but a lot of these you can tell would be
the more
massively
cost, I
expensive.
won't call them cheap maybe, but the more cost-effective places will have, a lot of times we'll have the outlet like buried behind the nightstand,
Which is massive.
and you don't want to move that. You're thinking, I don't really want to know what's behind there, and I don't really want to stick my hand in behind,
No.
not knowing what's behind
and
there.
also,
So
the massive nightstand might look like it has seen better days. And so you don't want to be the one that finally puts pulls it the final time and the thing disintegrates, because that as horrible a condition as that's in, that it'll be worth, $200 or something
but the
like
place
that.
we're
If
in
they
now
have to add
is-
that to your bill because you wrecked their marvelous nightstand.
yeah, the place we're in now, though, is quite nice, and finally, it's great that hotels in America have gotten the message and taken the carpets out.
Oh, this is great. It is.
There's
It's
no
nice
carpet,
big tiles, so there's not a lot of grout. They fit tightly together. So these are things when you come up from the underside, you notice these things, and wow, it just feels so much cleaner. You breathe better.
Well, Europe's been doing that for decades, but
Yeah.
it took us a little longer.
Don't you agree that it's nice not to have the padded headboards? It just is much
Oh,
more
I know.
allergy free
Yeah,
not having that.
I don't get the padded stuff. How about this? I've never seen this in a hotel, thankfully, but some people who buy the padded toilet seats, I'm thinking that it's just so weird. I'm not, no.
Well, if you have a bony
that's-
rear, that might be nice for you. I've never had to worry about that.
Anyway, that's off topic.
Yeah, very off topic. Let's not talk about that. This hotel room has something that I'm going to take a picture of, and we'll get it put up so that you can see it too.
Well, let's walk over there.
They have kind of it's a rack that they've constructed out of just regular galvanized pipe. And what it is, there are 4 flanges screwed to a special panel on the wall, which I think just makes sure that it has extra integrity. And then it's this galvanized pipe, and it's put together with elbows and T's.
Oh, so it's actual plumbing?
It's actual plumbing
That's kind of
pipe.
cool, yeah.
And it's just absolutely fantastic. So there's no closet in here. This is installed in a space behind the door, which would be a difficult space to find anything else to do with it.
Or these luggage rack things.
Underneath, it looks kind of industrial. It's got that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath is a console. It looks sort of 70s. There's shelving underneath there on those little short legs, like the 70s furniture used to have, like those consoles to set your TV on, or sometimes they'd have like record cabinets with sliding doors. It's that kind of thing. And again, we'll put up a picture. There's a safe here. I don't have anything that you would really need to put in a safe. But the way they did that plumbing rack is just brilliant. It's very sturdy. And then off to the side, they left a gap of about 7 inches, something like that, between where that side bracket is and the wall, where the wall turns.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the ironing board and iron are stowed in there really efficiently.
Yeah.
And the ironing board that they chose, somebody had a great design eye, is also, it is a gray gunmetal color that exactly matches the standard stock galvanized pipe. This pipe is about an inch and a quarter outside dimension, but it looks fantastic. Then when you come around the corner, so the closet, I'll call it the closet clothes rack, is screwed on the wall behind the door. You come around the corner from that, and they have a nice big TV set screwed also to that.
It's ridiculously oversized.
It's nice. That's screwed to this wall, and that would be really difficult to steal.
And they have another one in the living room, because this is actually a 2-bedroom.
Every bedroom, both bedrooms have their own big TV, and then there's one in the common living room area. So there's
work.
3 TVs. Oh, that doesn't work?
Well, we were trying to watch Saturday Night Live last night, and it was just coming in and out like it had bad signal or something, but that was true on every channel, so there's something with the cable system in the hotel, I think. We didn't check this one, though.
No. By the time I laid down last night, I didn't care about any TV shows. This side also has the long console. I'll take a picture after we get our clothes off of here. Just before we go, we'll take a picture so that you can appreciate the console without all the junk. But I will say, it has accommodated our stuff. Like I say, we travel with backpacks and carry-on only. We stop checking bags. It's just not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And this also, they have a little fan here so that you can, you move that around as you want. It's got nice air conditioning. This hotel has, for each bedroom, it has its own little balcony. But we moved all of the chairs over to one because we've met my son and daughter-in-law and their toddler, and so we like to put him down for a nap, and then we all just go out and have a nice tea or something.
Walk through there, so
and
as long as we're
we didn't want
standing
him
anyway.
to be able to hear us sitting out there talking. This hotel room, you hear the echoing hotel room sound. This is the kitchen, and when our children were small, and this very hotel was not like it is now, we used to bring our kids here back in the days when it was rough carpet and old lamps. Mm-hmm. And
we loved it anyway.
We loved it.
Especially since it was like $45 back then.
Yeah, it was inexpensive. We had a flock of kids. And because it had the kitchenette, we paid a little more for the hotel. When we say that, we paid a little more for that. Because if you're taking 4 kids out to breakfast, that adds up very quickly. Mm-hmm. But if you have, you pay $10 more, $50 more.
Well, this is not a kitchenette. I mean, it's a full-size kitchen, really. Yeah. With a big American fridge and everything.
This particular 2-room suite can sleep 10. It has one of those Murphy beds that's
Oh,
built
we'll have to
up
take video of that.
into the wall. And our kids, they've always had the Murphy beds in this place, and our children absolutely loved that. I had to make sure that they weren't crawling behind it where the mechanism is, or shutting each other up in there. You know how kids
Now,
think
in
of stuff like
the
that.
living room,
And they have in here something I think is very cool for a hotel room. All the furniture is pleather. Nice though. And I say pleather because that's what we used to call it.
Or
But it's
Naga
very
hide,
nice.
yeah.
You can,
You remember
it can all
Naga
be
hide?
wiped off. There's nothing fuzzy that's going to collect out.
the hide of the Naga, you remember that?
the ancient and
I'm not
mysterious
sure what a
Naga.
Naga is, but
But so this is nice. There's the wall decoration is simply a series of rectangles that are screwed right to the wall. They're just frames, and then there are 4 screwed to the wall, and then a 5th screwed on top of it. So it's an interesting geometric shape. Nobody's going to steal that. So I think the way that they are designing places like this now are much more reasonable. The lamps are inexpensive lamps, but they work just fine. I know that loss is a real issue for hotels, and I feel very badly for the mom and pop type hotels or the small company hotels, the kinds that we normally stay in. Because I know that people are taking towels, they're taking lamps and light bulbs, and
I noticed on the TV last night when I was trying to troubleshoot why the signal was coming and going, and around to the back where the coax cable is. And it was a little bit loose, but not much. But I noticed that there was a couple of wires that came along with the coax that are plugged into USB port in here. And the only thing I can figure with what they're doing is as an alarm system.
oh,
So if somebody wanted to steal this huge TV set, they would obviously pull out all the cords, and 2 of those would be the USB connections, which would, I'm sure, set off an alarm of some
yeah,
sort.
will you leave it alone? Get
Wait,
away
yeah,
from
I want to see if I can set it off.
No, I don't
Prove-
want
prove
you to
the
set
theory.
that up. Anyway, 2 nice bathrooms, a shower head, that
That's what the
I
Murphy,
think-
you forgot the Murphy bed
the Murphy bed.
in the living room.
Wait just one second here. I gotta grab some.
It's just got some handles on it here.
Yeah, the handles are the feet.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And so when you
Well, I'm a
lower
little,
it,
no, we've used it before. I'm acting like this is
creak.
the first time I've done it, but
creak, 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 creak. I want one of those at the house. I think Murphy beds are the most wonderful thing because
There we
they
go.
they just give you so
Oh,
much
it's
more
all made up.
flexibility in terms of space. Well, this,
there we go.
that was creepy. We'll have to save
Sit on
that.
it, see if it's as comfortable as the other
No, I
ones.
don't want to sit on it. Somebody made that up. I'm not going to mess it up.
Well, they're not gonna.
No, I'm not messing that up. They've done that up nicely. I don't want to have to.
What do you plan to do on there? Just sit
I
and
know
see how
you
it
said
feels.
sit
you
down,
know?
but hey, I'm the bed maker in chief, and I'm not messing with that.
See if it's as easy to put back.
See
Yeah,
if
it
it
is.
creaks
It's
like
got
that.
sort of
Halloween.
counterweights or springs there that make it easy to put back up.
Yeah,
Whoa.
very nice. The kitchen has everything you could think of. The fridge, coffee maker, has a toaster oven that they keep on a shelf in the cabinet, which gives the counters a much tidier look. At home, I would love to be able to get rid of a lot of the stuff I keep on my cupboards, but there's just no storage space. But it works out great. There's a microwave, table, and 4 chairs. Between the 2 bedrooms, there are 4 more patio chairs, and those can be carried in if you want to sit around a table or
We'll step
whether it's
outside and see how.
weird or anything like that. Let's go outside for a minute, see what it sounds like. That's my
If we
chair.
get to it. There we go. Oh, still mowing.
Yeah, they're still mowing, but at least it's further away. It's nice, cool room. There's a road not far from us, so interesting. This place has a game room. It has guest laundry. It's quite a sprawling complex.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy enough with where our room is located because we're kind of on a corner. So we only have people near us on one side, and it seems like those rooms have been vacant since we got here. So
Nice.
that's not terrible. I like corner rooms if you can get them, especially if you're traveling with small children who might be noisy. And our grandson,
Children are never noisy.
he's just chirping all the time now, and it's been absolutely delightful. And it was wonderful to see him. They flew to get down here. We're in Central Florida. They were going to go to Disney. We decided that wouldn't work for us this morning. So he's there now, and I'll be delighted to
get the report.
Yeah, to get the report and get some pictures and that. Yesterday we had him over at the swimming pool, and they had him in one of those life vests, and he was wearing it was a really nice swimming outfit for a 2-year-old, and he's a big 2-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It
Very
had
tall.
long sleeves to prevent sunburn, and then little swim shorts, and a hat to match.
Swim hat.
And he apparently picked it out himself. And he kept that hat on all afternoon. And I'm shocked because he has never kept a hat on his head ever. Except when he was a real teeny baby and couldn't get it off on his own hook. But he kept that hat on. And I honestly think that it was because he picked it out.
Yeah, wouldn't hurt, I wouldn't think.
No.
So you still haven't explained why you showed me these cute little small kits of very tiny things. How does your pack get so huge and heavy?
Well,
it's not from those things, that's for sure.
No, I bring a capsule wardrobe. I have one of those compression packs. And so in my pack, I have a dress. You men are lucky. You can kind of recycle the same things, and it doesn't seem as bad somehow. Anyway, so I bring a dress, a skirt, a pair of pants, a pair of capris, underthings, and socks, and shirts to go with the pants and skirts and that sort of thing.
Doesn't seem like
Something
that would
to
be
sleep in, and a bathrobe.
too heavy, though.
And a shawl. It isn't heavy. My pack isn't heavy.
It's heavy.
Even with all it's heavier than yours. I say he's skippity doo-dahs through all the checkpoints and TSA and all of that. But I mean, these are decisions that I make. I used to carry those little handleless teacups, Asian teacups that like you would drink out of. I have
no
two
handle.
different stacks, no handles.
Right.
They fit one inside the other really well. And I used to carry those because I enjoy a glass of wine in the evening. At the end of the day, that's my treat. Helps me sleep better. Helps me digest road food. You know, if you're traveling and eating in different restaurants.
Don't eat roadkill.
Not roadkill.
Oh, I thought you said roadkill.
No, I mean like food from restaurants. Not always the greatest restaurants,
road
and not
food,
always
right.
at the time that's best for me to eat. Sometimes you eat late, and a little glass of red wine or something helps digest all of that, and calms you down after the rigors of your journey. This past journey, the journey to get here was, wow. It's only a 2-hour bus ride, and we take public transportation.
That's right. I see. We forgot about that, but
Oh my goodness. The bus was to be there around supper time, and we were there ready. We were there an hour ahead, sitting in an outdoor bus terminal, and the bus did not show up. And along about the time it was to have shown up, a thunderstorm rolls in, complete with a deluge of rain.
So if it had come on time, then we would have been perfectly fine.
Yes.
Right. So
But
timing was
and where
notable.
we were to catch our bus, there was no shelter. But because I think it's a contract thing. You know how the bus different bus companies kind of contract with the owner of the
Right,
depot. And so this was off to the side. They had some benches that you could sit on over there, so we wouldn't have had to stand. But I was watching the dark clouds roll in, and I said, hey, let's go over and we'll stand under that shelter, because I don't care to spend the evening on the bus in wet clothes. And so we figured the bus was late. So
And we hadn't eaten supper,
No.
but we didn't dare leave because we thought, well, if it's an hour late or something like that and we're not here
Yeah.
because we've gone to look for something to eat, then so
Yeah.
we didn't dare move.
No, and we didn't this time because we wanted to eat at our destination, and we would have gotten in at just about the right time for that to happen. And we had time to kill before our son and daughter-in-law and the baby came. And so we said, well, we'll just wait till later. Dumb idea. Never do that. Our rule is always pack some cereal bars or something for just this eventuality. But we both have been so busy all week that we didn't follow our own advice. And so we waited for that bus. It didn't come. The deluge and thunder and lightning happened, and we had just gotten under cover, which isn't cover. I mean, it's pretty skimpy roof, designed in such a way that they're not attracting people who want to camp there. But it was enough to kind of keep us dry. However, the rain, it was hitting with such force that it was kind of splashing up from the road, and we were not terribly far back in. So that was not cool. We went on the website, their customer service website, and it was one of those quagmire ones that just kind of twists you around and never really gives you an answer to anything.
Yeah.
And you can fill out, it says chat with an expert, and
An expert robot.
but it takes you nowhere. And so we were hungry, we were confused is a nice word,
Well,
for
you
why
did-
the bus never showed up.
You did manage to put in the booking number somewhere,
Yeah.
finally, and it said, 10 or 8 p.m. I thought, what?
We had a printed ticket that said the supper time hour.
5:40 it was, yeah.
So anyway,
So they completely blew off the stop, or the
you know what
bus broke down or something. I don't know. So
You
we
know
had to
what I
wait
think
for the
it
next
was?
scheduled bus.
I think that we were the only ones booked for that bus.
That could be.
Because the second bus, the 8 o'clock bus, only had like 6 or 7
Well, that's
people
we
on
kind
it.
of proved that, didn't we? Because we did. There was a few other people there, and we said, well,
Like
we could
5.
ask them and see if they're waiting for this bus, and they weren't.
No
So
one
I guess
else
it was just the two of us. So that's possible. They said, oh, we only have 2 people to pick up there. Forget about it, you know.
But you booked on the
them.
computer and not through the app. Is this right?
Yeah, but that.
So they didn't
that doesn't make any
contact us
difference.
in any way, shape, or form. So
No, and you didn't even ask for the phone number for text.
No, so that was difficult, and as we neared 8 o'clock, about 7:30, the bus showed up, but the driver said that they couldn't leave till 8, and she couldn't stay there, so she had to move the bus to another location and come back right to pick up at 8. Meanwhile, the first thunderstorm was short-lived. It was enough to saturate all of those benches out without shelter. And so we couldn't sit over there. We stayed under shelter. Meanwhile, as it got closer to 8, after we had talked to her when she was there at 7:30, we went back over and sat under shelter, but I was watching the sky and it looked like a bruise. It was purple and just black clouds, and I thought, oh no, this storm is going to be much worse than the one that happened at supper time. And so we waited under shelter and then hurried up and went over just before 8 o'clock. And I saw those clouds deepening and flashes of distant lightning. And I thought, oh no, we're going to get drenched. Anyway, she came just at the last second. And there was some question about whether we would be able to get on because our ticket was for 5:40. And she had told me that when I talked to her first at 7:30, and anyway, we got on the bus and we no more than pulled out of that bus station and the storm started. But I have to say,
Didn't she say something like, oh, we'll see if you can get on?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, so you're going away, coming back at 8, and you're not sure, like
Whether our
almost
ticket-
like there was room enough for you guys or not. So
Yeah.
we still didn't really know for sure. But when she did come back, what was there? Like maybe 10 people on the
Not
bus?
even, Dave. Not even
So
between
I'm
us. There was
thinking,
not 10
what?
people. It was like 7 people, maybe.
Yeah, so it was like, but so from that point on, it was fine. The bus
and
was
she-
nice, actually.
Comfortable
Seemed
bus.
clean, good seats, seat belts. You
And
know,
the driver was
she was
superb.
not the greatest interaction when she's not driving, but as far as drivers go, she was great because there was
Oh,
absolute downpour
And lightning
at certain points.
there were a couple traffic slow-ups where I think the drainage
There's
system
been
couldn't keep up.
A lot of bus experiences we've had with drivers that are just going way too fast, and it just you're really because you hear about bus crashes all the time,
Yeah.
and that's the reason, you know. But this lady was super safe,
She was
driving
really
to the conditions, and you know, not trying to push it or anything like that.
good.
So
We have another good story for our travel adventures out of that lightning storm bus trip. Anyway, we got here safely. The Uber ride was fun. The driver was excellent. We got here
played
safely.
nice jazz music on his
Yeah,
radio,
he
which
had
is
nice-
rare.
Yeah, it was so that was nice. Our family arrived safely. The baby was tired. He was really tired.
They had a bumpy ride coming in the plane.
Yeah, they did, because there have just been massive storms the last little bit. So that it was wonderful, and it has been so wonderful to spend time with him. We've talked over video chats on the phone, but you don't have the full sense of the development. It's been 6 months since we've been face to face with our toddler, and he's just changed so much. Now he talks, he's got ideas about everything, and it's fun. My son and daughter-in-law are wonderful parents, and they're so good about letting him choose certain things. And it's fun to see from among a bunch of colored things, you know, which he chooses. And he likes reds and pinks, and he knows all the names of the dinosaurs. And he turned 2 in January, so he's not terribly old. And he knows all of his shapes, so he's a lot of fun, and I consider us extremely blessed to be able to have this time. And
Yeah, absolutely.
just the area is not so nice. They keep it up. They're so welcoming of guests, and I know this year there's been quite a few challenges because of our international relations as a country. And so I'm hoping all of that clears itself back up pretty quickly so that we can go back to business, because it gives my heart a lift to see all the young families enjoying this place as we did, 25, 30 years ago. There's so many things, and just things that really inspire a bigger worldview, and that's always good. It's always good, because when you understand that you are one human being in a big world, it teaches you to adjust how you conduct yourself. And so travel is a marvelous thing for that. And it's inspiring. Like for me, the big takeaway, we keep talking about building a tiny house, and I'll tell you, I am going to build a rack out of pipe just like that. I don't even care. It doesn't look bad. It looks great, even though it's very humble in construction.
Yeah, it does look good.
And it's efficient, and that's what I want, especially if space is limited. So I'm very big on that. I cannot believe it, but our time is just about up.
You can never believe it. I don't know why. You should believe it by
goes
now.
by
We've
so
done a
quickly.
number of these.
It seems like when you're thinking about doing the podcast, you think, do we have enough to visit about?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's for sure.
I don't like how you said that, and I don't think it's a good idea for you and I to end the
don't
podcast
like your
in some
tone.
sort of quarrel. Yeah, I don't like your tone, mister.
Anyway, maybe we'll walk around
Yeah,
for the next episode, as long as we're on the road.
yeah, that's right.
Outside.
Before the kids get back, because that might be a little bit of bedlam.
Ah,
Ah
Bye.